And I thought that was totally scrupulous. Last and final question.
Mr. Higgins, right over
Right
here.
over here.
Have you seen the reMarkable? And how does it look?
Well, yes, I did see the reMarkable, and it be looking scared. How's it going, everyone? Roger here, Reds About Tech. If you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me. If you're crew, hit that like button. And since everybody's got buttons, I guess I'll go ahead and hit mine. Oh, and I just want to say that interview was totally farcical there, lest anyone think that it was actually real. So since the reviews for the reMarkable Paper Pro has gone out, I figured I'd make a video talking about what we found out, what the people are saying about it. Is it good? Is it not? I don't know. I'm going to get a copy in. I said a copy like it's a record. I'm going to get a unit in to review. So it should be here in about a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, if I'm not lucky. But we're getting one. So I'll be able to give you a first-hand account of what I think about it really soon-ish. But for now, I've been looking at reviews, and there's a lot of good stuff out there. People got early access. Voja, he lives there. So, I mean, where are they at? Norway. You know, it makes sense that he gets to invite the early access, but reMarkable. Come here, let me holler at you for a second. I would like to be invited to the next event. I know you got something coming. The Paper Pro is just your first thing. I know you got a paper coming. Just plain paper, reMarkable paper. When you talk about that device and you're emailing people like, hey, would you like to see it, please? Include your boy in that. Roderick, rants about technology. I don't mind going to Norway. I'll get coated up, get me a coat with a fur hood like they do in Montana. Wait, is it even cold in Norway? Regardless, I'll come. I'll make the trip. Please invite your boy. Okay, moving on. Kid has his unit. He must have had his finger waiting on the mouse just the second it launched. He was buying it. How, dude? How did you get it? Tell me, I want to know. So the reMarkable Paper Pro here, color device, and that seems to be its like shield against all controversy. Like, bro, I'm color. If you didn't know, I'm kind of a big deal right now. So how I'm seeing it right now is that the reMarkable Paper Pro has added color. And I'm kind of looking at that like it's a reMarkable 2 with color. I mean, if I'm wrong, somebody hit me up in the comments. I don't see anything crazy happening here. The software seems to be unchanged except making some accommodations for color. But everything seems to be layered around the color. So I want to talk about a few things here. The design choices they made. What does color mean for the market now that reMarkable is using Gallery 3? And also some of my concerns that I have now that I've seen a little bit more of the device. So let's get right into it. So right here we have the reMarkable Paper Pro. Good looking device. No problems with it. But doesn't it look a lot like the reMarkable 1 we have over here? I mean, it's essentially the same thing. Same kind of design language. I mean, no buttons, of course, right? But same essential build for both devices. One's made of metal and glass. The other one is made of just plastic. Plastic display, which I thought and think is awesome. I really want to get me one of those Mobius displays. I hear the new A5X, we're getting ahead of ourselves. All plastic. And that's the difference, really. The build material is the difference here. You probably could have ran the same OS on both of those devices. Whatever operating system is running on the Paper Pro could probably run on the reMarkable 1. I wouldn't doubt it. The specs hasn't changed that much. Let's take a look real quick and see what the specs are. All right, so it looks like we're looking at 8 gigabytes of internal storage and 500 megabytes of RAM. Maybe it would not have. Well, let me see what kind of processor we're looking at here. It doesn't say the processor speed right here. But regardless, though, the point of the matter is that that's not a real big spec jump between that and that. 512 and 2 gigabytes, that's what, 150% more? That's a lot. Never mind. So maybe the operating systems couldn't run on that with 512. It might. We're talking about Linux here, so it probably could. So, but the design is what we're really talking about here. And it's like they went back to our old design going from the 2 to the Paper Pro. But there's another device that looks like that. It's the Viwood's AI paper. It's like both companies decided to go back to our old design and make the devices based on that. I mean, that's not the only similarities. A lot of people think the packaging looks eerily similar to reMarkable's packaging from Viwood's. I agree. I look at it and I'm like, oh, you're right. That does look crazy similar. The packaging design, the way they did it. It's like, and I've been thinking this for a long time. I'm going to say it out loud for the first time. It's like a reMarkable designer got upset and was like, I'm taking my ball and going home. He took his designs with him. He took his designs straight to Viwood. I don't have any evidence to back this up. Do they even do that in this industry? I know other industries do it. Do they do that in the e-ink industry? Do they steal talent like Apple steals talent? Because they're good at it. They're the best. It just seems like from them being nobody and having that particular design that, again, mimics that design right there. Like, come on. So that's my big thing right there. I've been holding on to that for a long time. I don't know. But all signs point. So that's my first thing about the design. It's just an unaspiring design. It's an old design that someone else is also using over here. 2 people are using this design. So I was not impressed by the design of the Paper Pro. Not at all. It just lent validation to my thoughts that they have a reMarkable employee over there at Viwood's. And it just says, you've gone backwards. Let's go forwards. So I'm hoping that we don't get that kind of trend here where devices are taking like old designs. We want to see something new, refreshing, you know. Now, granted, mind you, it's not a bad design. I like it. And how many designs and form factors can you get in the e-ink space? Probably not very many. I don't care. I want a new one. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Especially from a company who like created something so crazy within 2 years after this thing right here. They came out with that thing right there. The jump was monumental. Now going from that thing to this thing, it wasn't a step forward. It was going backwards. My next gripe goes along with the design. It's the pen. I don't really know what to say other than, why are we using technology that's inferior to what you've been using? They're using the inferior design and now they're using the inferior tech. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So the pen uses the USI standard. Like I said before, it's a newer standard. It's not as refined. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles of the Wacom standard that we all know and love right now. I mean, and you can see it in Kit's video. He's writing with it. The lines are all squiggly. It's not all nice and uniform. And I don't know if anti-aliasing takes form or takes over after that and smooths it out or something. But even the raw ink with Wacom looks really good. I mean, they can smooth it out with software and make it look even better, but the raw ink, how it draws, looks good to me. I'm sure they can program it to look different. There's different characteristics. I know there are. Someone in my comments told me there was. So, yeah, I mean, it just doesn't look as neat. And I get it. The USI standard is for writing. It's not really for artistic expression or, you know, more complex styles of writing and drawing. But still, man, I want it to look good. Like, I'm spoiled. I'm coming from the 10.3, the best ink on the planet. Say what you want about the device. You can't say a thing about how that e-ink looks. You can't say a thing. It's awesome. It's the best. I'm spoiled by that. So when I see inferior line quality, I'm just like, oh, that's cute. And the fact that you have to charge it, you have to attach it to the device to charge it. it never stays attached to the device unless you're strapping it in. Like, I don't want that. I'm used to not having to charge my pens. I'm used to using, where is it at? I would like to use my Lamy on everything. Lamy everywhere. And, I mean, yeah, you get a button. You have a button on it. This is not the reMarkable Paper Pro pen here. This is different. But this pen has a eraser on it. And it has a button. And it has, this should be the standard. Well, I mean, the clip, okay, whatever. But, oh, my brother's calling me right in the middle of making a video. Let's see what he wants. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Just so you know, I'm right in the middle of making a video, so you're going to be in it now. He called me and then forgot why he called me. I love him. So we get this new pen technology. They come out with this new pen, and it only has an eraser. That's it. Like, why are we not getting something that's reMarkable? They have the updated pen. Why are they not updating it? It's the same thing as the last one. The only difference is it works with the new USI technology. What? Like, what are we doing? Like, come on. Throw a button there. And don't even have to be a button. Go the Apple route, pressure sensitive. It's still a button to me. It's all good. We should be innovating on these things instead of just yet another cylindrical tube with an eraser. But you gotta... So next up, we're going to talk about the color aspect of all of this and how it affects the rest of the market. And I really do believe that color is the shield that the reMarkable Paper Pro is going to stand behind. And all of its proponents are going to stand behind the fact that it has color. Yeah, I get it. It's super impressive. Gallery 3 color working better than what it has worked in the past due to whatever reason. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, none of the devices that I use all the time right now have color. Like, my favorite devices here are black and white. And no front light right now. I don't need that for note taking. Now, in the eReader is where I value the color. So I have color eInk devices, Kaleido 3, and I use them primarily for reading like articles, PDFs, books. I'm not really using them in a way where I'm taking notes and I'm color coding. And to be honest with you, I super thought I would be doing that. When I got into the eInk space, that was one of my things. I thought, I'm going to be using color to color code everything. My mind thinks that way. Yeah, maybe it does. But in a world where I could have been using color, I really wasn't. And then I made my mind up, okay, I won't make that such a priority in devices that I'm going to be using. So hence, right now, all of my favorite devices are black and white. So color has its places for eInk, I think. But taking notes is not one of them. If the note taker I love to have just had color, I would use it. But to me, it's not a defining factor in my purchases right now. It's just not that big of a deal, like I said, unless I'm buying a device for e-reading and that particular reason alone. Like, I love reading the news on my Kaleido 3 devices. Like, I mean, it's just to see what's going on in color and like newspaper quality style. And from what I understand, the reMarkable Paper Pro is essentially the reMarkable with color. And the reMarkable was never the device I would choose to read stuff on. Like, I would wholeheartedly go for another like dedicated e-reader or grab a books device and do my reading that way because it has such good options. I will say that the reMarkable 2, as old as it is, and comparing it up against newer devices like the PDF viewer that they have on there, the reader that they have on there, the image quality that it can reproduce is top notch. I mean, still images, like legit top notch on the reMarkable. I got some tests coming for the Penstar that shows me the Penstar looks a smidge better, but as far as the devices that everyone's familiar with, the reMarkable 2 still holds up in the PDF department. Looks better than the Supernote and looks better than any books device that I've tested. So, but those are still images and not images you have to manipulate and things like that, like what you would have to do with a PDF that you are working on and annotating on, and all of those things that you would have to do to a still image that you would be working on, versus you're just putting a picture on the screen and letting it sit. It's perfect for that, but as soon as you have to work with that image at all, that's when the experience goes downhill on the reMarkable 2 for me, and I would imagine it would be the same thing for the reMarkable Paper Pro. So if it's just the reMarkable 2 with color, like how useful is it to someone like me I consider myself a power user who needs options because I'm just used to them. Not that I'm like, oh, I need options. I'm just used to having options. And once you get used to having the ability to format things how you like to see them, like you can't put that genie back in the bottle. Like now you expect that. And I expect it on all devices. It would have to be a really compelling device that doesn't have that would make me want to continue to use it. It would have to be super compelling in every other aspect. But yeah, I consider myself someone who needs options. So unless this color is so groundbreaking, so luscious looking, and like I said, I don't really use color that much when I'm doing my notes, so it wouldn't be that big of a jump for me or leap in quality for me anyway. In all actuality, it may be a downgrade for me coming from a 300 PPI device that looks super clean and super sweet, that has variable refresh rates that I can change depending on what I'm actually doing with the device. Those features are super important to me, and I don't think you have any of that going on in the reMarkable Paper Pro. So I'd be giving up some stuff to have color. So it would have to be pretty compelling for me to decide that I would want color. And I think that's the sentiment that most power users are going to have. If you liked the reMarkable 2, and a lot of people did, and a lot of people do still, that's still selling today, then you're going to love, in my opinion, the reMarkable Paper Pro, because those users are not going to be doing anything that's going to stretch the system to its limits and hit the performance wall and start to see some of those disadvantages. So I don't think that's going to happen to majority of the reMarkable 2 users who are jumping to the reMarkable Paper Pro. I think they're going to be okay with that device, unless the flickering gets to them, like I've been seeing on a lot of videos. And for me, I make so many concessions to stop any kind of flickering happening excessively on my eInk devices, because you can have that kind of flickering happening all the time if you constantly have your device automatically refreshing. After every stroke or after so many button presses, it'll refresh itself. I go into the settings and I shut that down. I make sure that it's refreshing the least amount of times. I'll manually refresh when I need it to refresh. I even go and tinker with the refresh rates on the devices for different settings, just so I can scroll certain elements without it having to refresh and flicker after I get done scrolling. I jump through a lot of hoops to make sure I get the least amount of flickering on my devices, because that flickering just bothers me. And if you're epileptic, oh my goodness. But unless the flickering gets to people, and it would definitely get to me, I would definitely want to have some kind of option to cut that down. If not, then it would definitely be a negative for me. But if the flickering doesn't get to people, I think the device will be perfect for anyone moving from the reMarkable 2 to the reMarkable Paper Pro. Despite all of these concerns though, I definitely want to get one of these devices in, and reMarkable has been kind enough to send your boy out one, because this is going to be the device most people are going to be jumping on. I mean, even if they're getting a different device or a few different devices, they're probably going to have this device as well. It's the easiest to get into. They have the biggest name recognition right now as far as eInk goes. They sell the most devices, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I definitely want to be able to share my opinions and thoughts about the device with you guys out there, and maybe even helping some people through some of the more technical aspects of the device. All right, everyone, that's going to be it for me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like, subscribe if you want to see more, and till next time, take care.